Thank you. Thank you very much. And next to the superintendent, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll start by talking about the vacation days. Last year, there was, having been new last year as the Director of Teaching and Learning, there was a past precedent set that during Christmas vacation, administrators were given a few days off during the holidays. We considered going with that past practice. We have rescinded that, and administrators and administrative assistants will be taking either their personal days or their holidays. I believe the thought when it was done last year, I don't know if it was done before that, I wasn't in the district, then Superintendent Nimbercall hoped that by closing some of the buildings and being able to turn the heat back, that it would be an additional savings. The other thing that I would like to say this year about having considered giving administrators some additional time off is the administrators this year have really stepped up and answered the call of working even longer hours. I mean, their regular day is a 9-hour day, and they've all been very committed to coming to school committee meetings every 2 weeks. And on those days, it's a 15, 16, 17-hour day. And having been a high school principal myself, high school principals have activities every day, every night of the year. So this wasn't a situation where, neither myself nor my staff or, I talked to Madam Chair about it a few weeks ago. It was not an attempt to dupe anybody or take extra time. In fact, many of us rolled over extra days last year. I know I rolled over 17 myself, so it's not an issue of days. It was more an issue of people who work incredibly hard. I understand that we are on salary, and I understand that we're not paid by the hour, but we will be putting in our vacation days, and we will be taking personal days or the different types of vacation or days off that people have. The other piece with that is that all of our assistant principals have a contract that gives them the month of July off, and it gives them 8 vacation days during the year. They start around August 1st and they go until June, so that was a little bit for them as well, because 8 days during the year with a high pressure job is not a lot of vacation days. But today everyone was made aware that they will have to use their vacation days or personal days. So I hope that answers your questions. Another couple of things that I want to mention: we had our first delay today. We had a 2-hour delay, and knock on wood, I guess I'm a little superstitious, it was a really good start to the morning. From what I understand, there were no issues this morning. I'm sure we had 1 or 2. Somebody will tell me later. But overall, we had a great start. I'd like to thank all of the administrators in the schools for being out, for getting students in. I think our bus drivers did a really good job this morning, and it was a good, safe day. It is December, and it is New England, so, we can look for those. I think my final thing that I'm going to mention tonight, tomorrow we have an AIP meeting with Sally Dias and Patricia Williams, our plan monitor. It's our second quarterly report, and it looks again as though we're going to have good news. Today, Patricia Williams, our plan monitor, was in the district. She and Cheryl Stanton visited all the schools, did learning walks, took a look at what was going on, and she was very, very pleased. So we're excited about the academic progress that we're making. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Abrams.
Our counselor, our friend Mr. Carrasco, mentioned confusion. Seeds of confusion are sown when things are aired on public television without corroboration. I might say that his colleague, Councilor Manna, last night broke her, what I guess was a truce. They called it an olive branch, but I guess that's gone. But at the November 25th meeting, she stated for the public that the Southbridge Public Schools have been at level 4 since 1998. And Madam Chair, the term level 4 wasn't even added to any school district until 2010. The fact is, the school district was declared an underperforming district by the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education in 2004. Some people out there, I know it's new math, some people out there call that 2 decades. That seems like 10 years to me. So, Madam Chair, I would urge our friends on the town council side, if they have any questions, why not come to the chair first here, instead of asking them and speculating on them in an open town meeting? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Abrahamson? No. Not our meeting.
Madam Chair, I'd ask to let him respond.
If the school committee, that's not our policy, Mr. Carrasco, if the school committee would like to give you the opportunity to respond, that's a decision I'll leave up to this board.
I say, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I move that the councilor be allowed to respond.
Thank you. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Olivo. All in favor? Show of hands. Thank you. The motion carries. Councilor Carrasco?
Just to quickly respond in regards to why it was brought public, I approached members of the school committee prior to getting on the platform or whatever it might be called to bring this issue up. Furthermore, our town manager reached out to our superintendent to clarify the confusion because it was brought up to us about 2.5 weeks ago. So we did do our due diligence in trying to bridge the gap. But again, there was some major confusion in regards to how it was presented. When it was presented to me and also the chairman who was here, it was never presented as the administrators. Absolutely, they work hard. Truthfully, the 4 principals we have now in each of the schools, I truly believe are part of the success that's happening right now in our district because they're working extremely hard. So I kudos to all 4 of them. I've been to many events in all the schools and they are working really hard. Now, in regards to the way it was presented, Mr. Abrahamson, it was presented that the central office staff was going to be closed. Central office, which to me is clerks, secretaries, assistants. If you're going to give those people days off, 5.5 days, and you're going to close central office, that is where the confusion lies. And that's how it was presented to us. It was at no point in time meant to bring more negative, because I am a firm believer that we need to turn this train around and ship it in the right direction because we're off track on both sides. We have some major issues.
If I may, Counselor, who presented you with that?
Our town manager, after he had the conversation with the superintendent.
So the town manager said that the superintendent was just going to close and give people 5 days vacation.
According to the conversation he had,
Yeah,
and
okay.
what was presented to us.
Now, Counselor, I don't disagree with you. I think politically, it's a ridiculous notion to say close this. We are a school district that is in trouble, and it doesn't show. I don't think it shows good judgment to do that. I agree with you. Now, how do we prevent these other conversations going on in town council that have no corroboration and aren't true?
Madam Chair, I'd like to call a point of order. That has nothing to do with what the conversation that was going on.
Thank you. But in actuality, it does. If I may, I did not see the meeting last night, so it's not fair for me necessarily to comment on the meeting, but I was advised of some of the comments that were made and of previous meetings that have been held, and it's very concerning to me, and this is not personally directed toward you or to anybody in particular, but the politics of shock and awe in this community are outrageous. Everybody drops bombs, and then it lets them explode and see what happens. I think, to your point, you just clarified how information got to you, and that makes some sense to me. But it would be greatly appreciated if you could relay to the town council that if there are specific concerns, They certainly can bring them to any school committee member, but I, as the chair, can coordinate and get those answers, because what school committee members tend to do is bring those concerns to me. And I did have a concern from a school committee member, and I was in the process of researching that, and was planning to answer that today, and then I heard last night that this had transpired. So I think just in the future, we are all on the same team here, and we need to act that way and behave that way. I think it's unprofessional at times to call people out publicly, because what it appears to me, and this may not be the actual case or intent, but it appears to me people want a reaction rather than the answers they're seeking. And the information is here. It's not always scary. Like I said, the school department does not get the benefit of the doubt in just about any instance I can think of. People's minds always go to the worst place. And it really was a discussion that occurred centering on holidays occurring kind of midweek. For the school district, the day before Christmas is also a holiday. And rather than heat the schools and break up, starting the boilers over and doing that, it was discussed as a potential cost-saving measure. You know, once questions started to be asked, things were rethought. And that's what we should be able to do. There should be a little bit of political cover where people can feel free to ask those questions. They're valid questions, and get answers, but not in a context that is so confrontational or so combative that it just creates ill will on both sides. And that's what I hope to avoid. So I thank you for bringing your concerns forward. I appreciate that, and if you'd bring that message back to the town council, I'd appreciate that as well.
If I may, Madam Chair, number one, I am one of 9, and that's why I'm here tonight. I said it publicly, and I showed face. I don't need to say something and run. I say I'm running, and the 3 things I promised the people of Southbridge that elected me was to hold people accountable, bring the town closer together in unity, and bring a level of respect. We can disagree and agree, but we still got to respect each other. I totally agree with you. In regards to how some members of our council behave and react, I'm sorry for their actions. There's really not much that I can control. In regards to trying to get the information prior to me making it public, I did do that. I reached out to the school committee members, and also our town manager reached out personally to the superintendent. And at that point in time, there was no bend. They had a conversation. He brought the concern to myself as a vice chairman and to the chairman, and to see what can be done, because there was no turning of the arm. This is what we're doing. Therefore, I felt it was necessary to bring it to the public forum, because again, we're talking big money. We're talking days that don't belong as days off. And people in this building wanted the same kind of treatment. And unfortunately, we can't shut this building down for 5.5 days. So that's how it was presented to me. At no point in time was it presented, again, with administrators. It was presented central office. So again, my intentions were not to bring negative feelings to this school committee or to the public. But again, we did our due diligence trying to reach out. If it wasn't resolved and there was a strong arm, then I had no choice, because that's what I believe in. That's who I am. I will not change who I am for politics. Because tell you the truth, I hate politics. I'm here for the kids and I'm here for the community. I want the best for Southbridge. So that's why I show face. I'm not going to go on public and use the TV or whatever it's called to send a message. No, I'm going to say it and I'm going to show face. I don't have to hide behind somebody else is saying something. No, that's why I'm here tonight, because I needed an answer. And I thank you that you guys responded today and made a wise decision, because it was a bomb. Unfortunately, again, Mr. Abrahamson, yes, it should have been handled in closed doors. It should have never been brought out to the public. But at the same time, if it wasn't handled correctly, what you do in darkness will see you out in light. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing, just to you, through you to the counselor. We do want openness and we do want communication. And I don't think it's been there to the extent that it should be, and I'm hoping that some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight will do that. We're a peace-loving group, and all we want is another peace-loving group on your side.
And again, I can only speak for myself. I know what I bring to the table and what I have to offer. And again, I can't speak for the 9. I only can speak for 1. But I do, as long as I'm an elected official, whether it's today, tomorrow, or the remaining of my term, I will continue to be who I am and build the level of respect. I'm not here to bash you guys or anything like that. I just want answers. Because again, we just got to do things smooth and done it right. So at that point, you will always get a level of respect from me, even if we disagree. I will look at you in the face and say, not the wisest decision in my opinion, but we'll be able to still have a cup of coffee because that's who I am. So again, I apologize if it brought some animosity, but that's not who I am. I just wanted an answer. And again, I can't speak for the council. I will relay the message. Mr. Chairman is here, so he will also relay the message. But again, we're only 2 out of 9, and it's definitely an interesting bunch, for lack of better words.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Did you have anything further, Pat? I think we were still on.
I would just like to say that perhaps when I spoke with the town manager, there was a misunderstanding. As I said, it was a past practice last year that administrators had additional days off, and the administrators knew for, I would guess, a month that this was going to be something that we were going to do. So, I apologize for, an error in judgment, I guess. I was going on past practice, and we're trying to change things here, and I will note that. Thank you.